Part 2: The Foundation of a Successful Business. Chapter 4: Every Connection Matters. Finding Students. Do you remember I told you in Part 1 that working alone does not mean feeling lonely? Unless you are in the game just for the money, making you disregard every contact that will not immediately bring you financial benefits, you see that early on, creating connections is an essential part of our freelance business. There is no easy beginning. The dream we all have is that no sooner had we decided to start our freelance career than students would magically start falling onto our laps, forcing us to build a waiting list in a very short amount of time. Wouldn't it be perfect? Truth be told, there's no such thing as magic. When you started driving, you had to struggle a lot until you could park well. When you started your university degree, you needed time to get adapted to the amount of reading you had to deal with. When you moved out of your parents' house, it took you a great deal of time to get adjusted to the bills and boring housework. Still finding housework boring here, by the way. Everything takes time. The same will apply to a new business. When you decide to fly solo, people won't magically hear from your resolution overnight. You have to get out of your comfort zone and get yourself exposed out there. You have to tell people you are available, that you have gaps in your schedule. I guess one of the hardest things in this modern society is to tell people we have free time. Our world has this crazy idea that the more you work, the better professional you are. The feeling is that good professionals are always busy, working 24/7. Appearances sell more easily than quality. We get bombarded by such messages all the time, leaving us with the sensation that if we don't do the same, we are big fat failures. Just remember one detail: emotional diseases such as anxiety problems, burnout syndrome, among others, are exponentially growing. Because of that, there are already people trying to change this idea of be or at least look 100% busy. But until it gets to our hearts, we will feel ashamed of being free and available, as if we were not competent enough for not having our time being fiercely disputed. Before we get into finding people for you to work with, take a moment to think about this. 1. How do you feel if you have some unexpected time off in your schedule? Do you try to fill it in with something as soon as possible in order to make the best use of your time? 2. How do you deal with idleness? Does it bother you? Do you make use of these moments to have some reflections? 3. Do you feel you have to be producing something all the time? If you're not productive all the time, how do you feel? Anxious? Okay with it? 4. Would you dare tell people you are free in the middle of one random afternoon? 5. Would you be able to tell people you can take long naps in the middle of your day? Do you feel bad for resting while others are working? The reflection list could go on, but I believe you got my point, right? Before you think about talking to people about your work flexibility, a new career move, a new life change, you have to digest it all yourself. A freelance career schedule will be defined by your goals, not by appearances. Once you understand it is no crime to be free, available during the week, you feel more comfortable talking to people about your new career moment. Memorize these mantras. Having gaps in my schedule is a blessing, not a curse. I am a good professional, and it is okay to have gaps in my schedule. I am free to choose the way I'm going to do things in my business. I control my life. Therefore, I rock. Freely adapted by René Descartes. Now that you are firm in the freelance concept, which means being free, you can then start spreading the word about your availability without any sorts of embarrassment for doing so. You might tell me, okay, Agnes, I get that. But tell whom exactly? Where can I find students willing to take classes with me? The first thing you need to do is to let everyone know that you're teaching freelance. Your family members, your friends, people around you. Talk to people. Don't be embarrassed of saying that you are an entrepreneur now. Thankfully, it has been quite fashionable to go freelance in our modern world. However, I must warn you not to create high expectations from your closest contacts. What I have seen over and over again is that your clients will not necessarily be these particular people. One or two might, but the vast majority of your first new students tend to be people you are not that close to. A little pause for reflection about this topic. I have always pondered on why family members and close friends won't easily opt for having classes with us. We might inadvertently feel they wouldn't trust our work or were unwilling to support us. However, what I have realized over time is that it is more speculative than realistic because the very same people will refer us to their friends, workmates, acquaintances. Why would they do so time and time again if they didn't trust us? One of the possible reasons I have thought of is that they don't want to ruin their relationship with us. We all know that when money is involved, people start behaving differently, which might make them fear to risk our friendship. Not to mention that if you try to teach family members and close friends for free, some will turn it down for the fear of being abusing our time and generosity. Others will accept it, but won't take the course seriously. Everything that comes to people too easily is sadly taken for granted. So, don't take any of these rejections personally. You see that they may recommend you, even never having had a single class with you. It is time to get back to the topic of telling people about your new availability. First and foremost, let your former students know you are working for yourself. Former students are priceless, which means they could be the first ones you should get in touch with when you go freelance. They have already taken classes with you. They like you. They trust you. Out of these conversations, you will probably leave with one or two new students in your new business. If you have been working freelance for a while, the same rule applies if you have struggled to find new students when some have dropped out. Let former students know your new availability. Offer them some special conditions. Think of strategies that will make their return irresistible. I highly suggest that, when deciding to contact these prospects, make it as personal as possible. I mean it. Putting together an ad to be distributed to your contact list is not exactly the best strategy, although it may seem easier, faster, and let's face it, less embarrassing. Unless you are a natural at networking, contacting people to offer something may be extremely difficult for all the exposure it involves. I feel you. You needn't rush things. You are beginning a new moment of your career. Your name is your brand now. Take good care of your attitudes as you would take good care of a newly born. Enjoy the process of taking the time to contact former students one by one. Yes, you read it right. One by one. I myself like sending a quick text asking about them, and then I record a fast audio including their name so that they will see it is personal, explaining my new moment. I explain why I thought of them and let them get back to me. I can't promise everyone will respond to it, but most of them certainly will, even if they don't have the intention to do business with you right now. They are going to be polite. They are going to engage in a pleasant conversation. Let the talk flow. That is why I tell you that it's a lengthy process in which you shouldn't hurry. The first step of getting in touch with people has proven me to be extremely effective. Who doesn't like to get care and attention after all? Even though most people won't sign up for a new course right away, they will know you are available in the future. They can also refer you to others. At this point, your new entrepreneurial attitude will start getting you into the real thing. If you don't start reaping what you have sown right away, soon enough your networking will give you the rewards to reap. Treating people how you like to be treated is gold in business. You may be thinking that everything seems to be too scary. Some sentences might be coming to you, such as, I am not the sort of person. I am an introvert. I don't like reaching out to people. I don't have any contacts of former students. I would feel too embarrassed to do it. What if you feel this way? Doing business with people has a lot to do with relationships. You can have experience, certificates, plans. However, if you lack this energy of putting yourself out there, you would have to review your feelings towards working freelance. Negotiations, recommendations, connections are part and parcel of a freelance career. You need these interactions, for there will be students coming and leaving all the time. When people drop out, you have to be prepared to engage in new conversations. Working for an institution, the school does it for you. Working for yourself, you have to be out there in the market. It is like getting a new job. When you start a new job, you have to get familiar with the institution, get comfortable with the new teacher's room, and so on. So, how about facing this exposure as the first new challenge of your dream career? So, if that is your case, start reconsidering how you see this part of the business. One thing you can do is to exercise this approach by striking up conversations with people in your building, in your neighborhood, with online contacts. Be nice, be polite, be kind. During these conversations, let them know that you're a new teacherpreneur, that you love what you do. Tell people you're doing this because you believe in education and you're willing to do your best to the world. To break the ice, talk about your passion before you get into pitching your classes. Networking is a skill that will accompany you throughout your solo career. So the sooner you get adapted to these talks, the better.